Hi everyone, we are Team DogCat. Today we want to explain about our achievement in AIS Big Data Hackathon. Title is Measurement the Economic and Social Impact of the COVID-19 Pandemic on Society. As you know, COVID-19 have been spread all over the world in this year. This figure shows the map of confirmed cases of COVID-19. As you can see this figure, the number of COVID-19 cases in the world are very huge. There are more than 25 million cases. COVID-19 pandemic has had a negative impact on human activity and caused severe economic stagnation. Global growth in 2019 is 2.9%, but growth rate in 2020 is minus 4.9%. As you can see left figure, GDP in the world is also decreasing in 2020. From this fact, we can find negative impact on economy. COVID-19 also affects the maritime transport. Right figure shows container cargo volume at Shanghai port. Shanghai port is the largest port in the world. As you can see, the cargo volume in 2090 is increasing from 2090, but the cargo volume in 2020 is decreasing from 2090. From this fact, we can find the impact of COVID-19 to maritime transport. So we utilize AIS and relevant dataset to measure the economic and social impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on maritime transport. We analyze the impact by 4 topics. First topic is about has the offshore stockpile happened in Asia. The second topic is the difference in the impact of COVID-19 to container shipping. The third one is a survey on GHG emissions around the Cape of Good Hope. The final topic is analysis for bulk carrier.
So the second analysis is has after stockpiling occurred in Asia. OPEC's increase in oil production and COVID-19 slowdown in demand results in imbalance in oil supply and demand. Tankers are put on standby at sea. So we investigated whether similar situation is occurred in Asia and where information is scarce, and I saw where it happened. The research methodology is as follows. Firstly, 400 crude oil tankers were included in the study, and we extracted the staying points, which means the speed over ground is under 1 knot per minute from AIS, but we removed the data in the ports because they're too close to the coast. We compared the results between the former half of 2019 to the former half of 2020. This is the result. So the result is around the Indian Ocean. There are some areas where more vessels are in offshore stockpile than 2019. And specifically, Yangon, Myanmar, and
Okay, let's explain about topic the difference in the impact of COVID-19 to container shipping. In this topic, we want to know is there any difference in the impact of COVID-19. For example, the cargo volume in the world becomes lower due to COVID-19. In this case, we can predict that deployed vessels become smaller. To measure this kind of changings, we measure the difference in the impact of COVID-19 to several factors. We use arrival data in East Asian ports, that is Busan, Qingdao, Yanqing, Shanghai, Xiamen, Hong Kong, and Los Angeles ports. We analyze the difference of port of cost in shipping alliance and vessel size. This is the result of port of cost in shipping alliance at 2020. Bar chart shows the number of port of calls at 2020, and the line graph shows the changing ratio from 2090. From this figure, we can find 3 things. First one is the decreasing ratio in Busan and Qingdao port is larger than other ports. The second one is the ratio of ocean alliance in Shanghai and Hong Kong, and the alliance in Xiamen is higher than other ports. The final one, the decreasing ratio of 2M is larger in most East Asian ports. However, the ratio of Qingdao and Los Angeles ports are smaller. From this result, we can find that there are differences of port of calls in shipping alliance on ports. This is the result. Now, we want to explain of the topic, a survey on GHG emissions around Cape of Good Hope. In this April, the traffic volume in the Suez Canal dramatically decreasing due to lower oil price by COVID-19. Instead, there's a movement to reduce distribution costs by choosing the long-distance route via the Cape of Good Hope. Therefore, we can predict that the increase in Cape of Good Hope would affect on GHG emissions. However, in maritime transport, GHG emissions should be decreased. One countermeasure to decrease of GHG emission is to reduce shipping speed. Therefore, in this study, we want to analyze GHG emissions around the Cape of Good Hope and confirm the ratio of gas reduction by slowing down the operation. Okay, let's explain about research policy. First, we set up polygon in the area of Cape of Good Hope in order to find passing ship in this area, and we generate the mesh data to calculate GHG emission. Second, we get the speed and position data for each ship in the area from AIS. Finally, we calculate the total amount of GHG emission for each mesh. Next, we want to explain about calculation of this topic. We calculate the GHG emission by multiplying the main engine and the fuel ratio, GHG factor, and sailing time. The output of the main engine is calculated to this formula and the parameters. The GHG factor is calculated by the coefficients in this table. This is the result of monthly GHG emission. As you can see, the amount of emission in 2020 is lower than 2018. We estimate this is due to some recent regulation to GHG for global warming. As for the increase in April 2020 is due to COVID-19. We estimate the number of ships increase in Cape of Good Hope. This is because COVID-19 makes demand in the world lower and oil price also becomes lower. Therefore, the number of ships increase and the emission of GHG will increase. This is the result of GHG emission. In the red area, the GHG emission is higher. We analyze the importance of the reduction of speed by comparing the value of 2018 and 2020. As you can see, the difference between 2018 and 20 is not so large. This result shows in this area we do not have to implement the reduction of speed. The reason why we cannot obtain the expected result is the research target of this analysis. In this analysis, we only focus on Capesize bulk carrier. However, this type ship do not pass the Suez Canal. Therefore, in this study, we cannot obtain the expected results. If we analyze another ship types, the results might change. Those are future work.
This part is for the analysis of bulk carriers. Our aim is to find if there's any difference for the export countries and import countries before the coronavirus period and during the coronavirus period, and I will do this analysis by commodity types. And the second goal is to find if there's any difference in shipping patterns for the large size vessels before the coronavirus period and during the coronavirus period. So our target is Capesize and VLOC, and most of them will carry iron and coal. And our target period to compare the corona influence is chosen in the first half in last year and the first half in this year. And I will use the database from AIS and the commodity information from XDrive. This part is analysis for the iron ore. This first figure means how many tons iron ore is carried in 1 year, and it shows a trend from 2016 to 2020. And this green line, this orange line means the growth rate. And the one below it is the trade volume for iron ore, and it also shows a trend in 5 years. And from these two figures, we can know there is no significant change for the iron ore in 5 years. And it means iron ore trade is fairly stable. So there is not so much coronavirus impact on it. And this one is to compare the 2019 and 2020 for the export countries. So compared to 2019, except for the Australia, voyage numbers and the trade volumes of most of exporters decreased a little bit. And for the Australia, voyage number and the trade volume increased slightly. And this one is for the import countries. And this table below is show the detailed, maybe important OD pairs. And it's for the OD pair, the trade volume between China and the major exporters increased, which means the China between the Australia and between the Brazil increased, and for the most of the OD pair decreased. And this part is for the coal. Like the iron ore analysis, this one means how many times coal is carried in 1 year, also show a 5 years trade. And this one shows the trade volume for coal. And we can say coal is not like iron ore. It is affected by coronavirus impact greatly, I think, because we can see this growth rate in 2020 is minus 30%. And this part is to compare the 2019 and 2020 for the export countries. And compared to the 2019, voyage numbers and the trade volume of most of the export countries decreased a little bit. And we can see from these two figures, even for the voyage numbers and for the trade volumes, we can see Indonesia decreased the most. And this part is for the import countries. And this table below shows the detailed ODPR information, and it's for the ODPRs, the trade volume between China and the major exporters, which is Australia, increased. But most of the ODPRs will decrease a little bit. But we can see for the Indonesia and India, their trade volume and the wage numbers decreased a lot. And this part is for the geographic analysis, because there are too many vessels and I can't get all their data in such a short period. So I randomly chose 30 vessels from VLC list and the Capesize list and plot their movement in 2016, the first half of 2016, and the first half in 2020. And the purple line is for the 2016 one, and the brown line is for the 2021. And we can see this part is Australia. From the west coast of Australia, it will most of the iron ore will transit through this canal and go directly to the China. And this part is from the east coast of Australia, and even it is the trade volume is smaller compared to the west coast. It will also transit to this part, this country, and go directly to the same part in China. And this small country is Indonesia. Most of the Indonesia's trade will go to the South Africa, so their line is very strong here. And because our analysis is focused on VLC and the Capesize, so there are few The very small numbers will go to this part, the canal part. So that's all for the geographic analysis.
That's all our presentation. Thank you for your attention.